Well, good morning and welcome back to the podcast. This morning, I'd like to talk about something that's both personal and I think could be groundbreaking, incredibly healing. So it's what I call the atypical mind, what Grandin and McGilchrist reveal about hemispheres, neurodivergence, and wholeness. So introduction is learning is healing. What if the way you learn could also be the way you heal? I've been circling this idea for years, shaped by my journey through trauma, neurodivergence, and chronic illness. It's not just a thought, it's a new way of seeing the mind. This essay weaves together Temple Grandin's visual thinking, Iain McGilchrist's insight on the brain's hemispheres, and my own story to purpose a radical model. Learning and healing are one process. By blending visual and verbal, left and right brain, neurodivergent and so-called typical minds, we can unlock a path to wholeness. So let's step through that door together, shall we? To a world that loves words. Temple Grandin taught us that not all minds run on words. In Thinking in Pictures, 1995, she describes seeing the world in vivid images. She goes even deeper into it in her recent book, Thinking Visually. Cattle chutes, blueprints appearing fully formed before speech even kicks in, but schools? They're built for verbal thinkers, essays, lectures, standardized tests. They reward straight-line sentences, not spirals of images. Right? It reminds me of Einstein, who struggled in his home country but excelled in Switzerland with their different model of education. I learned this the hard way. I flunked a high school history exam, not because I didn't understand it, but because my mind worked like a spiderweb, not a straight line. Half images, half sentences, a messy in between. I thought it was a flaw. Now I know it was a bridge to something deeper. The atypical mind, a spectrum of gifts. Forget neurotypical or neurodivergent. We're all atypical in some way, navigating a spectrum of how we sense, think, and connect. Grandin's visual genius, a poet's metaphors, my own blend of sketches and words, they're not quirks, they're part of a greater design. For me, embracing that meant trading textbooks for audiobooks and rigid outlines for sprawling nonlinear notes. My neurodivergence wasn't a wall, it was a doorway, one that let me heal from trauma while learning philosophy. The two, it turns out, are inseparable. Your mind falls on this spectrum too. Where is your place? McGilchrist's hemispheres, the dance of balance. Pardon me. This spectrum of minds mirrors another spectrum inside all of us, the left and right hemispheres of the brain. In The Master and His Emissary, 2009, Iain McGilchrist describes how the left hemisphere zooms in, dissecting details like coder debugging lines. The right zooms out, weaving context like a storyteller crafting saga. Alone, each is incomplete. Together, they're transformative. I call this integration macroscopic and microscopic awareness. The ability to toggle between the specifics and the big picture. When I was stuck on a philosophy essay, I sketched a web of ideas. It didn't look like an outline, it looked like chaos, but it brought order to my thoughts. That blend of logic and intuition, that is where learning meets healing. So Temple Grandin's doors, the journey inward. Grandin describes each breakthrough as going through a door, from silent frustration to communicating her inner world. For her, the first door was learning to speak image into word. For me, it came in college, journaling with doodles and prose. One night, I sketched a spiral of emotions, and it unlocked a trauma I didn't even realize I'd buried. That door didn't fix me. It revealed me. It showed me that my mind wasn't broken. It was already whole, just waiting to be understood. What is the door you need to open? The gift of being in between. I used to hate being caught between worlds, visual and verbal, logical and emotional. Then I solved a math problem by turning it into a story. Characters were variables. The plot was the equation. No textbook taught me that, but it worked. That in-between space is not confusion. It's translation, transmutation. It's fluency across multiple minds. This gift isn't just mine. Maybe you are a coder who dreams in colors, a parent who thinks in soundscapes, a teacher who sees lessons as patterns. The in-between is where the insight is born. So the myth of the single mind. There is no single normal mind. That idea that there is one correct way to think or learn isn't just false, it's harmful. It flattens us. The truth is, every mind is plural. Grandin's world of images, McGilchrist's hemispheric dance, my mix of sketches, spirals, they all point to something deeper. Integration. A mind that knows how to weave, zoom in, zoom out, and heal as it learns. So a new paradigm, learning as wholeness. It's time to ditch the old labels. Learning, disability, too rigid. Neurotypical, a myth. Broken brain, dangerous nonsense. Let's reframe the conversation. Neurodivergence is a dimension, not a defect. Visual versus verbal is a spectrum, not a binary. The mind isn't broken when it learns differently, it's adaptive. Imagine schools where projects blend speech, sketches, and story. Imagine therapists using visual journals to unlock grief. Imagine adults learning in the language their minds were built to speak. This isn't just for neurodivergent minds, it's for everyone seeking wholeness. Where this leads, towards wholeness. Wholeness is a mosaic, a mind at peace with its complexity. It's Grandin turning images into innovations. It's McGilchrist teaching us how hemispheres harmonize. It's my own journey from scattered thoughts to a degree in philosophy earned with sketches, spirals, and stubborn hope. When we integrate the hemispheres, honor every thinking style, and abandon outdated categories, we don't just survive, we thrive. Let's build a world where every mind is a doorway to something beautiful. A call to action. Join the journey. In this essay, if this essay sparks something, take one step. For 1 week, journal with both words and sketches, or even what I used to call doodles. Notice how your mind works when you give it space to explore. Remember, Carl Jung's active imagination began with just doodling and drawing mandalas. He didn't evolve into language till he started to work with the Chinese Book of Change, the I Ching. And then explore your story in the comments or on Twitter or X or whatever social media you happen to use. Maybe with the hashtag learning as healing. What is your mix? Want more? Think of turning this into a series. Visual journaling for healing, or non-linear note-taking that actually works. Profiles of atypical thinkers across history. Tell me in the comments what you'd love to explore. Let's keep opening these doors together. And so thank you for your time. Once again, look forward to speaking with you again next time.